fertilization. Sperm comes into contact with the zona pellucida. Zona pellucida actually bind to the outside of the sperm, and that's called sperm binding. When sperm get bound to zona pellucida, is that set up a reaction called acrosomal reaction. Acrosomal enzyme leak out into the zona pellucida, digest away zona pellucida, allow the sperm head to dive in deeper toward plasma membrane. As the sperm gets closer to plasma membrane of the egg, it starts up a process of binding. It causes another reaction called cortical reaction, the release of enzyme for cortical granules to the outside of the cell. It causes change in zona pellucida, which then reach polyspermy. The sperm nucleus fuse with the egg nucleus to form the zygote nucleus.
Cleavage is a series of rapid cell division during early development. Cleavage in cell cycle consists during S and M phase. G1 and G2 phase is skipped, that's why there are little or no protein synthesis occur, result in no increasing in mass. Cleavage in partition the cytoplasm of the large fertilized egg into many smaller cells called blastomers. The first 5 to 7 cleavage will form blastula that surround by a fluid known as blastosole. After the last cleavage, 100 cells arranged around a central cavity in embryo. We call this embryo as blastocyst. Inside the blastocyst, a group of cells at the end of blastocyst cavity known as inner cell mass. Later, it will be the cell as source of embryonic stem cell liners.
Trophoblast cells differentiates into an inner cytotrophoblast layer and outer syncytotrophoblast layer. As the cytotrophoblast proliferates, newly formed cells migrate into the syncytotrophoblast and lose their cell membranes, forming a rapidly growing multinucleated mass. The syncytotrophoblast layer secretes the proteolytic enzymes, and the syncytotrophoblast turns out fingers-like projections, allowing the blastocyst to embed into the endometrium. Lacunae begins to form within the syncytotrophoblast. As the syncytotrophoblast erodes the endometrium blood vessels and glands, the lacunae become filled with maternal blood and glandular secretions.
Human embryo develop almost entirely from epiblast cells. Here, we see blue inner cell mass form a flat disc with an inner layer of cells called epiblast and an outer layer, the hypoblast.
Immediately after implantation, the inner cell mass of blastocysts start differentiating to form the primary germ layers. This process is called gastrulation. The cells of inner cell mass migrate, divide and rearrange into an outer layer called the ectoderm and inner layer called endoderm. Some cells that are moving inward contribute to form the mesoderm, the middle layer. The embryo now is called a gastrula. Gastrulation establishes the body pattern that is each tissue and organ originates in one of the three primary germ layers of the gastrula.
Further secretion of enzymes allow the blastocyst to bury itself deeply in the endometrium. Subsequently, trophoblast cells continue to divide and form extraembryonic membranes. Extraembryonic membranes consist of yolk cell, amnion, chorion, and allantois. The extra embryonic membranes protect the embryo, prevent the embryo from drying out, and help in obtaining food and oxygen and eliminating waste.
From this ayah, we can conclude that this stage chronologically might come out with something like this. First, nutfah amshaj, drop that is mixed. This stage covers the period from fertilization to implantation. Second, tahlik, present day embryonic. This stage extends from the beginning of third week until the end of week 8 and covers the developmental event. Third is Nashah, growth, present day fertile stage. During this period, the shaping and modeling are active. The external appearance develops in such a way that fetus becomes recognizably human. It lasts till the completion of pregnancy. This ayah also proved that science had strong relationship with Quran. There are nothing that Quran can't explain about science.
The Quran tells us also that the essence of man is not the whole semen, but only a small part of it. This is explained in the Quran. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ayahsabul insanu an yutraka sudda alam yakun nutfatan min maniyyin yumna. Al-Qa'imah 36 to 37. Does man think that he will be left uncontrolled, without purpose? Was he not once a fluid drop of ejected semen? As we have seen, the Quran informs us that man is made not from the entire semen, but only a small part of it. That the particular emphasis in this statement announces a fact that only discovered by modern science is evidence that the statement is divine in origin.
Surah Az-Zumar 39 verse 6. He makes you in the wombs of your mothers in stages, one after another in travails of darkness. This statement from Surah 39 verse 6. It is not known when scholars realized that human beings were developed in uterus, but the known illustration is of fetus in a womb drawn by Leonardo da Vinci in the 15th century. But Galen in the 2nd century had described the placenta and membrane in his book on the formations of a fetus. The travails of darkness may be referred to anterior abdominal wall, the uterine wall, and amniochorionic membrane. The interpretation seems to be the most logical from embryological point of view. With grace and elegance, it has been described in the Holy Quran. This interpretation seems to be the most logical from an embryological point of view.
Oh.